All right. Shalom, Yasharala. I give infinite honors to our Heavenly Father and our great King, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Harakakadash. Double honors to our elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone. A salutation to my fellow laborers in the Mashak Yahweh Shai, putting his blood doctrine across the four winds. Shalom. All right. I'm gonna go into this type about the family unit. Yahweh Bahashem Shai is building up his house. All right, closing the breaches of the house of Davidah, the house of David, and he's putting things in order through his spirit. And since we've been here in America, man, we've been all disarray. We've all gone back, and we're in Babylon, and everything is all about confusion. The Israelite family nucleus has been broken and bombarded to smithereens. All right, but the Lord is brought Jake back to him again. All right, and gathering the tribes of Jacob, and he's putting things back in order according to his spirit, through his spirit, Salakia. All right, I'm about to play this clip and show how the family unit got out of order and got in disarray. Okay, and then I'm gonna funnel it through the scriptures.
And society has made living for the women without the husband or without the male easy.
Oh?
Yeah, welfare. I think welfare is not the best thing for everybody. Teenage pregnancy cannot be stopped by programs. It has to be morals, and morals come from God. And somewhere along the line, the black family kind of strayed away from that. And I believe we need it.
You say the moral values have changed?
Oh, yes. It's morally acceptable to have babies. It was not morally acceptable years ago. That's hurting.
And I was looking at Dallas when they went live last night at camp. Elder Yashawamba said something profound. He said even having sex, the way us brothers, like a lot of us, you know, in America we grew up, you probably got your hand on some porn, and then you looked at the porn, and then when you got the first chance you got a female and you emulated what you did on porn. That was disorder. All right, that was disorder. All right, when we first had sex, your father went and taught you the ways of Yahweh Shema Shai first and foremost, and taught you how you deal with the family. All right, it wasn't just about getting your rocks off. And the father would teach his son what he should do, all right, and how he make children, and how to deal with a woman, and how to build up a family. And the woman, and he would teach his daughter also, and the mother would teach the daughter how she got to conform to her husband, do what he says. When her body is no longer her body, she has to submit to her husband, all right? And they would tell them, look, you can't have unnatural sex, so on and so forth. That child was taught and reared up how to have order as it pertains to using their bodies. But here in America, man, like Jake be fucked up. You looking at a porn and a dude going in the woman rectum, all right? And then you look at it, and then when you get a chick, you emulate that. That's disorder. That's total disorder. And that's what happens when you take a man out of the equation. And that's what happened to us here in Babylon, man. Okay? Just the things that you think is simple, no, we were supposed to be taught, man. Okay? Your father taught you those things. And there's no such thing as a family without a man. There's no such thing as a family without a father there, because the Yahweh Shema Shai sealed those instructions to Adam how to do what? Preside over the family unit. So when you're in America and they talk about blended families, modern family, there's no such thing as a family without the Lord's prescribed order. the man.
The black family, but we're content to be in this well now. Okay, we're just content to be in this mud, and we need to get out of it. There aren't any great white people running around in this block tearing up stuff. It's us. We've got to stop doing that.
Does the civil rights movement, which came to its peak in the 60s, have anything to say to this?
The civil rights to the young people now is a foreign word. What does it really mean to them? They don't have any knowledge about it.
The issue now is different, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I'm quite sure it is. If Martin Luther King were alive, he would not be talking about the things I think he was talking about, labor and all that. I think he'd be talking about the black family.
And you're worried about the survival of the black family. You think it's precarious?
I think it's going to be an endangered species.
The great source of American concern about the family during the early 1960s involved the black family. Daniel Patrick Moynihan had a report issued that described the state of the black family. And the picture that he drew frightened many Americans. It showed that upwards of 20% of black families had only one parent. It would keep poor black Americans from participating in the mainstream of American life.
So, according to that stat, 8 out of 10 families is not a family, because without a man at the head, biblically, that's not a family. According to the scriptures, that's not a family. If a man is not there presiding over it, that's not a family. According to the scriptures.
Rights laws. And then when the riot broke out in Watts, later in 1965, suddenly everyone had their explanation for why the riot had took place. That it was...
And the riot was what? The riot was a catastrophe. The riot, that Watts riot, was chaos. So what is the elites? We're not ignorant of Satan's devices. What is one of their mottos? All right, one of their mottos is you get order out of chaos. Don't let a good catastrophe go to waste. Let's build a narrative, push a narrative, and then come in with a remedy to fix this situation. All right. So out of those Watts riots, this is what this cracker right here is saying came out of it.
Somehow the breakdown in black family patterns that was the problem. And therefore, if we were going to stop riots in the future, we had to develop a whole battery of anti-poverty programs that would be aimed at trying to restore and reinforce poor families. And that battery of social programs became Lyndon Johnson's Great Society. After all, the overwhelming majority of black families in the early and mid-1960s had two parents. Most families were...
So it reverts back to welfare, government assistance. What was it created for? To break up the Israelite family, the family nucleus, all right? That's what it was all about, to keep us in submission, all right? It was anti-Hamashiach, okay?
Stable. Most children were growing up in two-parent homes.
And it didn't matter if they were poor, if they didn't have resources, they still had order. The women had morals. You didn't have, like, for the most part, from the 60s on up, yeah, you had harlots, you had hoes, but for the most part, all right, the majority rules, it wasn't a bunch of thoughts running around, women having babies out of wedlock, all right, guys just leaving the family. All right, those astronomical numbers that we see now, it wasn't like that. So all of this was done by design, all right? And these women are screaming bloody murder because they're taking away their government treats. That's the Lord taking it away for what? To put things back in order, all right? Because when the Lord finished with these bitches' asses, all right, they're going to be begging for a man to protect them and provide for them and be rid what? Isaiah 4:1. All right, they're gonna be begging for a man, trying to cleave to a man, grab the skirt of him that is a Jew, because we heard the Lord is with thee, begging for mercy, begging for the family unit to be back intact. When the Lord get through with their ass, when He start making them as the mire of the streets, okay. And I'm gonna get this definition a modern family from AI. Okay. A modern family can refer to two things: the diverse structure of contemporary families of the popular 2009 TV show that depicts them. Modern families are more inclusive and diverse than the traditional nuclear family, which is the American traditional nuclear family is closer to the biblical nuclear family. Okay, it's basically the biblical nuclear family. All right, often included blended families. A blended family, this bitch left you, took your kids, then went over here, met this nigga, and he had a couple kids. Bring that shit together. You know what happened when that happens? These so-called blended families, when people make blended families, let's say this man has two sons and this woman have two daughters. This man and that woman get together. Them two sons and two daughters be fucking. They be fucking. I've seen it. I've seen it with my eyes. I've witnessed it. Okay? I've witnessed it with my retina, eyeball. Okay? On more than one occasion. A blended family is not biblical. Now, a woman with children and her husband has died, all right, and she's become a widow, all right, yes, that can happen. That can happen, okay? But that in nowadays, if you try to do that right now, you're wasting time because there's no fear of the Lord. All right, so these little wild ass gremlins and these wild ass gremlins, they gonna fuck, man. Okay, but that's a modern day thing here. The daddy alive, and these girls are staying in the household with a whole nother man and calling him daddy. That's off, man. Often including blended families, multi-generational households, where you got the grandfather, the grandmother, the son, everybody living in the house. No, the Bible say a man is supposed to leave his mother and father and do what? And go get his own house and cleave to his wife. I can't imagine me and my dad and my mom living under the same household with my baby mama and me. Nah, man, that's disorder in itself. Every king needs his own counsel. Single parent home is not a family. Okay, a woman with children, that's not a family. If a man is not in the equation, that's not a family. All right. The family starts with the man, and we're going to prove that in the scriptures. And same-sex marriage. See, everything we just read about a modern family is satanic. This is evil. This is satanic. This is adverse to the scripture. Okay? This is adverse to the scriptures. All right? Now I'm going to get traditional family. All right? Now the wormhole go kind of deep for traditional family. All right? A traditional family, also known as a nuclear family, is a family unit that typically consists of two parents, a male husband and a female wife. That's a family. And their biological, now they say or adopted children. Nah, ain't no adopted shit. All right, their biological children all residing in the same household. The adopted part, that's a bone. Okay. Two parents, the presence of both a father, it's a mother and a father and a mother. See, that's that Babylonian bullshit. All right. The presence of both a father and a mother. Marriage. The parents are typically married. Okay. Shared resident. All members live under one home. Gender roles. The father was often the primary breadwinner, and the mother the homemaker and primary caregiver. All right. When you read the book of Titus, the 2nd chapter, it says what? A woman is supposed to be at home. All right, Salaki. It says a woman is supposed to be at home. Let me get that. me get it real fast. Titus, the 2nd chapter. All right. And women are disdained that in this society. All right. But that's what you're supposed to be doing. Taking care of the home. All right. Anything else is uncivilized. This is Titus chapter 2, verse. All right. Verse 3. The aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as becoming holiness, not false accusers, not giving them much wine, teachers of good things, that they may teach the young woman to be sober, to love their husbands. You see, there's no such thing as a family without the husband. And the woman is what? Created to serve the husband and bear children, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home. Keepers at home. This is what a woman is created to do. She's not created to be in a club bouncing her ass off the walls. She's not created to be out after dark, going around to social clubs, social settings. All right. She's not created. A woman, in my opinion, is just supposed to be going to the grocery store, go to buy some clothes and come back home. Might go to her mama house, visit her mama and her father if she got one, and come back home and tend to our household. That's it. All right. But here in America, I will say shit's so fucked up. You know, a lot of households need 2 incomes. All right. But biblically, the woman is supposed to be a keeper at home. That's how it's supposed to be. Good. Obedient to their own husbands. Obedient to your husband means that does away with gender equality. All right. A woman is supposed to do what? Obey her husband. Be in a position of submission. And that the word of Yahweh be not blasphemed. You see? So the modern day, everything we just read about the modern day family is satanic. Okay? All right? And it reads, gender roles, the fathers are often the breadwinner and the mother is a homemaker, a keeper at home, and primary caregiver. Yep. Okay? And it says biological offspring. All right? All that stepdaddy shit, that shit ain't biblical, man. All right. Now you had cases, okay, where a woman would die, a woman's husband would die, she would be a widow, and the man would take the woman. You take in the woman, you have to deal with her children. All right. But that wasn't a social norm. All right. That was not a social norm. The children are usually biological offspring of both parents. All right. That's a biblical family. All right. The model was the predominant family structure in the mid 20th century in Western societies. You see, so the West wasn't going off with that because the West go off on everything. But when they first started, when America first started, all right, because America has just morally just descended just descended into abominable filth the older she's gotten. Okay, she just descended into degeneracy the older she's gotten, particularly in the United States, but has become less common over time due to various social changes. You see? And what are these social changes? Women liberation movement, thriving for gender equality. All right, these are those great swelling words you read about in Daniel the 7th chapter, okay? Including great divorce rates. You see? This is what happens when you get that liberty. Divorce becomes the theme of the day. Women entering the workforce, that's what happened. When women start going into the medical industrial complex, those doctors was banging men wives. When women went to these lawyer offices and was secretary for these lawyers, those lawyers were banging men wives. All right? You know, the Lord say, sit not at all with another man's wife. Okay? So what happens when you put women around men? Not magic, all right? The nature is going to take its course. This woman's going to look attractive to him. She's going to look attractive. The woman is going to look attractive to the man. The man is going to look attractive to the woman. They're in the same area, all right? And nature is going to take its course, all right? There's no boundary. There's no order. The scriptures say, sit not at all with another man's woman. That woman's supposed to be at home, away from this other man. I work in a warehouse in Amazon, and it's just a fuck fest in that bitch, all right? Dude, adultery is committed every day because what? All of these men and women are working in the same area. Warehouses used to be exclusively for men. You got hundreds and hundreds of women in there, and they're in there committing adultery. A woman coming your workstation happens to me. All right. Every day they might put us in a different station. One day you with this chick and she laughing at everything you fucking saying. She come acting like she moving a box and then scoot her body on you and bumping your body and then look back at you like, oh, you felt that, huh? Yeah, the shit happens. All right. This bitch could have a husband. That wouldn't happen if she was at home. Okay? This is what happened when women entered the workforce. It broke up the family unit. And the rise of diverse family forms such as single parent and blended families, which is satanic. All right? Which is satanic. Okay? It says, what factors led to the decline of the traditional family? Here we go. The decline of the traditional family, aka biblical family, all right, has been driven by a complete interplay of economic shifts, changing social norms, all right? And what's changing the social norm? Gender equality. I could do whatever a man can do, all right? I want to be liberated. I want to have the same power and the same authority a man has. That's when you go back to Genesis, the second chapter, and say Eve saw that fruit and saw that it was good, all right? A fruit desired to be good and to make one wise, all right? And she yearned for it, okay? She went totally off. What was she doing? The same thing that the women are doing today. She started committing adultery. She started saying, I'm equal to average. She just started going off completely, all right? That wasn't a literal fruit. These fruits was these Western philosophies that you see our women partaking in today. And increase individual opportunities. See, that was the trick. All right, you could go be a kinesiologist. All right, you can go be a lawyer. Okay, you can be a divorce lawyer. All right, you could be a lawyer so you can help women liberate from men. All right, so-called opportunities. All right, and what did that do? Real men ain't dealing with no bitch telling them she equal to him. All right, I mean, I'm talking about all races: red, yellow, black, or white, Moabite, Elamite, Japhite, Israelite. Now, Edomites, they like women ruling over them, handling them in a kind of way. They like to put balls in their mouth and dress up in leather and let the woman just beat the shit out of them and piss on them and shit. Edomites is into that type thing, so-called white people. But the other races don't play that shit. A woman talking shit, talking about she's equal to them. All right? That's a no-fly zone, but that's when the so-called white man is in power, all right, this is what he pushes. Economic and opportunity-based factors. This is what broke up the family nucleus, all right? Women in the workforce. Adultery went rampant. It used to have a show on AME called Mad Men, all right? It don't come on no more. It used to be Raw, all right? And it showed when women start coming into the workforce. All right. If you ever could Google and look up Mad Men, and it'll be rich, prominent, powerful men, and they'll be fucking other men's wives in that bitch. Why the women start integrating into the workforce and they were just going wrecking havoc. And that's when the divorce rate starts spiking, man. Okay. The significant increase in women's educational attainment and labor for participation has been a major factor. Now, it's telling you the truth. This the devil telling you the truth what broke up the traditional family. Women are more able to be financially independent and self-sufficient. And when this happened, it made the divorce rate arose, reducing the economic necessity of marriage and traditional male breadwinner, female homemaker dynamic. All right. So that made her think, hey, I don't need this nigga. I don't need to submit to him. I don't have to do what he say. Whatever he could do, I could do better. You see? This is all by design. Okay? Let me get a precept to bag over what I'm saying. This is all by design, man. This ain't no accident. This is what happened when you let a devil rule. All right? This is Colossians chapter 2, verse 8. Okay? And it reads, beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy. You see, when you live in America and you go to the education industrial complex, all right, and you're taught from preschool, pre-K, these philosophies, you're being spoiled. You've been bewitched. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Hamashiach. You see, and that's what happened to women. All right, they were spoiled through philosophy and vain deceit. All right, they were spoiled through Satanism. Okay. All right, economic pressure. All right, the inability to support a family on a single wage, particularly for middle and working class families, has made the dual income household arrangement more of a necessity than a choice for many. But when men were working and they were struggling to make ends meet during those times, the family unit was still tight. You had a lot of love, all right, and everybody struggled together. And guess what? Your wife wasn't in the workforce somewhere getting fucked by another man, okay? Because women are hypergamous. You let your, hey, you let your girl, especially these American bitches, let your girl get around these celebrities, man. Let her. It don't even got to be a celebrity. Let your girl that don't have a fear of the Lord, that's not connected to this thing of ours. Hey, these dudes think they be pimping and players and macking. Let your girl get around a powerful man in America and see what happens. Let her get around a multi-millionaire and see what happens. See what happens. All right. What that was it? Was it Chris Brown said it, Mr. Take Your Girl? All right. Women are hypergamous. The guy with the biggest bankroll, he's the winner in this society. All right. Increased opportunities and mobility. Increased opportunities and mobility, what? Should not break up a family unit. Okay? That shouldn't break down what the Lord has in store, okay? In place. But here in America, this is what broke it up. Greater education. That shows you that this education industrial complex is satanic, because this devil is telling you the truth. He said the more education that the women got and more job opportunities, all right, have removed the default, and they call it a default of staying in one place near extended family. You see? The higher you go in this educational industrial complex, the more you become Satanized, all right, if that's a word, and the more you get out of alignment with Yahweh Shema Shai's word, with your Heavenly Father's word. All right, now you're connected to this beast system, and you don't even care about family. This modern day woman do not give a fuck about getting married. They don't care. Talk to these average young women today. They don't care about getting married. So therefore, they don't care about Yahweh Bashim Shai, the Heavenly Father. People are more likely to move for work, which physically separates nuclear families. On the right, nuclear families from the support systems of the extended family. All right, rising costs, increasing costs of housing, education, and childcare have led many Americans to delay marriage and parenthood, resulting in smaller families and a lower marriage rate overall. All right, and then I do want to say this: if you're a brother coming to the faith, right now, I gotta let me get a precept. Don't be trying to get married to nobody right now. You're a young brother, you coming in, you're not bound to a wife. Don't do it, because these women, the pool you have to pick up are nothing but satanic women. Okay. Now, if you're already married and you're already yoked to a woman, you do what the scriptures tell you. You don't put away long as she's pleased to dwell with you. All right. But the wise thing to do Salakia. I was having technical difficulties. Oh, shit. Salakia. I was having technical difficulties. Oh, shit. Salakia. Salakia. I don't even know where it went off at. You know what? I'm going to just go back. 1 Corinthians 7:26. And pick up from there. All right, 1 Corinthians 7:26. I suppose, therefore, that it is good for the present distress. And the present distress back then, all right, you got to be a historian when you read these scriptures. You got to know you can't have this 21st century modern day mindset and equate it to these holy scrolls. You got to know what was going back in Corinthia back then in the time when Paul wrote these epistles. All right, in the present distress, the Israelites that were in Corinthia, they was emulating what the Romans were doing. All right, like I just brought out that scripture in Colossians, the 2nd chapter. They were beguiled, all right, through philosophy and vain deceit. So if you got a woman, you would have like these women that are in this society. They were loose, all right. They were part of sororities. They had that Western mindset, the YOLO mindset, and they were just totally out of order. So Paul said for the present distress, it's better not to marry these bitches, okay? I say that it's good for a man so to be. It's say because the present distress and the mindset of these women, they're so disconnected. They're so connected to the matrix. It'll be wise not to deal with their asses. All right. And then he said in verse 27, art thou bound unto a wife? Okay. He said, if you bound unto a wife, seek not to be loose. So you come to this faith. Before you came to the faith, you was bound to a woman. You were married. All right. Don't cast that woman aside. As long as she pleases to dwell with you, don't cast her aside, because the unbelieving wife can be sanctified by the believing husband. Art thou loose from a wife? Seek not a wife. All right. Now, the longer we've been in this truth, you know what I'm saying? I fully get it through experience. I fully understand what the elder apostles taught us. I fully understand why Paul wrote this. In this society, in these women, it's better not to seek a wife. Now I can talk from experience and not just listening to my parents, my spiritual parents, my elder brothers in the faith, and the elder apostles in the faith. It's better not to seek a wife, all right? Because she's a Babylonian. Although she's an Israelite genetically, biologically, mentally, she's a fucking Roman, a degenerate. So it's better not to get yoked with them, okay? So to the Israelite brother that just come in, all right, it's better not to get yoked to them, okay? Because they don't even give a fuck about the traditional biblical family, okay? Let me go ahead and knock the rest of this out. Okay? I'm going to read this one, and then I'm going to just funnel the rest through the scriptures. All right? Increased divorce rates. The divorce revolution, this is what happened when women got more so-called opportunity. The divorce rate went up. The divorce revolution, the more educated they got, the higher the divorce rate went up. So when you hear people, get an education, make some of yourself. All right? The more education you get, the less a woman is going to want to be yoked to Yahweh Shema Shai and have a family, a traditional family. All right? Because this wine tells her she don't need a man. She can do everything alone. All right? And she's equal to a man. And all she wants to do is just have sex with men and take trips. All right? And go from sea to sea. And when she take that trip, she'll go to Jamaica and just have sex with a stranger in Jamaica. She'll go to France and have sex with strangers in France. So they've been liberated to be liberated whores. Okay, this is what the educational industrial complex does to the mortal mind that doesn't have Yahweh Shema Shai in it. Don't have the spirit of the Lord in them to protect you. Okay. Hey, I'm gonna have to hit you right back. I'm handling some business. Yo. I don't know, but look, I'm handling business. I'm doing a sit down. I'm gonna hit you back. Okay. Increased divorce rates. The divorce revolution subsequent higher divorce rates have led to rise in single parent and blended families, moving away from the traditional nuclear model. The legal process of divorce has also become more accessible and less stigmatized over time. You see that? You see when they say less stigmatized back then, before the 60s and the 50s, the 40s and 30s, it was a stigma to not be married, to not raise a family. All right, for a woman to be in her 30s and have no children. All right, even in biblical, especially biblical times, you people looked at you like you were eyeball if you wasn't raising a family, man. Okay. But over time in this satanic society, it's been normalized. All right. Babylon the Great is motherfucking hell, man. Okay. And it reads, all right, the next one is cohabitation and non-marital births. All right. Now, this is where they go off at. All right. Because when you pop a woman chair and you're the first one to pop her, that's your wife. Okay. You don't have to go through no ritual and go get a piece of paper from the government to say this is my wife. Because the same government will give you the same piece of paper and marry two men and marry two women. All right. Cohabitation without marriage has become increasingly common. You see, that's what happens when you've been deceived with philosophy and vain deceit. All right. You can cohabitate with your woman. Your woman is pleased to dwell with you and she's submitting to you and she's in order. That's your fucking wife. That's your blessed wife. Okay. You don't have to go to the justice of the peace and get the so-called white man stamp of approval to say that's your wife, man. That's some bullshit. Fuck them. And it's all about taxing both parties so the government can get more money anyway. And society accepted as a valid family form of precursor to marriage. All right. And you know what? In the faith, that's what you do in Babylon, man. You don't have to go to no justice of peace, man. All right. If you're one of the brothers that are fortunate to have a woman that's in order, all right, and y'all living together, y'all coexisting, she's submitting to your will, she's a woman after your own mind, that's your wife, man. Okay. The percentage of children born outside of marriage has also risen dramatically, further diversifying family structures. All right. Now that definition there, all right, that's the so-called white man with his rhetoric. He's saying you have to have his paper, his stamp of approval to be married. That's bullshit because he'll give that same document to two men. All right. And when you read Hebrews, the 13th chapter, the 4th verse, it say the marriage bed is undefiled, it's holy. So that paper that they're giving you is unholy because they'll get that same document to two men. Okay. So we don't need this double stamp of approval for me to say this is my wife. My woman in my house, she cooking, she cleaning, she doing right by me. Okay, she's not going out a whoring on me. She's a keeper at home, and I'm well pleased to dwell with her. She's pleasing me well. That's my wife, man. I don't need that devil telling me that. Fuck him. All right. Secularization and individualism. All right. A decline in religious. Yeah. All right. This is a good one. The devil telling the truth on this one. A decline in religious observance and the rise of more individual culture, which is Satanism. The YOLO philosophy, all right? Because when you go back before the 60s, all right, you go back to the 50s and 40s and 30s, our people, although they was getting that plantation doctrine, all right, they still was having a somewhat fear of God. They had a zeal for the Most High, but not according to knowledge, okay? But now when you talk to these modern day youth, and I'm going to say even women my age, all right, men my age, all right, they're more into this Satanism, this satanic culture, okay? More individualistic culture have weakened the traditional social pressure and stigma associating with non-traditional family arrangements. You see, traditionally, you would get married, your father would pick your wife, all right? Her father would, and your father would come together, make an agreement, put that holy thing together, all right? And those two individuals will build a family and will fear God, all right? But here in Babylon, All right, through his philosophies, his rhetoric, his education industrial complex, the family nucleus have been broken. And now, what they said on that clip I played, welfare, that just crushed everything. Okay, welfare, it is not just welfare. All right, where the women chose a check over the man. No, it's those opportunities. The higher she got in the educational industrial complex, where she made more money and had more opportunity, I feel that took more women away than welfare, man. My humble opinion, but the numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie. Okay? It took just as many women away from their men. I don't need that nigga no more. I make more than him. I'm the breadwinner. Okay? Pride grew in their breasts. People are more inclined to prioritize individual happiness and fulfillment over adhering to traditional family roles. And what it is, they've gotten away from Yahweh Bashem Shai. All right. They stopped fearing Yahweh Bashem Shai. All right. They want individual happiness. All right. They want to hear smooth things. All right. They received those deceits that the white man prophesied to them. Okay. But the Lord gonna get their fear back up in the coming days. Acceptance of diverse family structure. Now, what's a diverse family structure? There's a growing acceptance. Damn demon. All right. There's a growing acceptance and visibility of various family types, including LGBTQ, all right, Satanism, abominable relationships, LGBTQ families, multi-generational households, and voluntary child-free couples. Voluntary child-free couples. Yeah, okay. They don't even want to have children. All of which challenge the traditional paradigm. Hey, let me see what generational household is. I don't want to vain jangle. What the fuck is a generational household? I'm just thinking it's just everybody stay in the same house, like Big Mama, the whole family. Like, I know right now in the hood, everybody stay in Big Mama house. The brother, the sister, they wives, they husband, all of them in that one house. That's what I thought a generational household is. Everybody stay at Momo house. Everybody chip in on the bills. I think like Issachar lived like that. That's what I thought it was. Issachar, everybody still in one house. Issachar do that shit. Generational household. Generational houses. What is that? All right. A generational home is a residence where two or more adult generations of a family live together. That's what I thought. Such as grandparents, parents, and adult children. Man, that's not biblical, man. Okay. A man leaves his father and the mother and cleave to their wife. All right. And they get their own house. All right. Issachar do that shit. And like Jake can't do that shit because somebody gonna die. Judah can't do that shit, bro. Judah, somebody gonna die if Judah did that. Okay? That shit ain't gonna work with Judah. Somebody gonna die if Judah do that. It ain't too many generational households with Judah. I know a few, but that's not on a broad scale. All right? Judah gonna kill each other. Okay? Let me bring up my precepts. All right? Because there's no such thing as a family, all right, without the man. This is because how is a family unit constructed? In fact, I'm gonna start from the beginning. All right, this is Genesis 2. All right, this is Genesis 2, and it reads, all right. All right, this is Genesis 2 and 18. And Yahweh, thy power, said, it is not good that a man should be alone. All right. So the Lord said, we got to get this man a woman so he could build a family and populate the earth. Okay. And I would make him a helpmeet. And I would make him a helpmeet for him. So that's what a wife is. All right. A helpmeet. All right. And I'm going to skip down to 21. This is the point. And Yahweh thy power caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up his flesh and stayed thereof. All right. Now, when the Lord put that deep sleep on Adam, he sealed instruction into Adam how to preside over the household. All right. It wasn't just a sleep. He fell asleep like your typical person think what falling asleep is. All right. No, the Lord put him in a trance and uploaded information into his database. All right. And then he showed him what to do with the family, how to lead the family. Okay. All right. So in that scripture, you have to understand that what happened. All right. When he said he took one of his ribs, he didn't take a literal rib. He got a woman of his own nation, of his own lineage. All right. For him to procreate with. Okay. All right. That's like a metaphor. The end of Genesis, the second chapter, is metaphoric. It's not literal. Okay. So now I'm going to get Job 34:2. All right. To show a family ain't a family without a man. You put a man out the equation, it's not a family. He's the cornerstone of the family. He's the foundation. Like we not a nation without Yahushua. Okay. We're not a church without Yahushua. He's the foundation. Okay. He created us all, man. He's the prototype, and we're just like him, man. Okay? This is Job 34:2. Hear my words, O ye wise men. You see? This is what happened when Adam was put to sleep. The Lord gave him words and still instruction in his mind how to preside over the family. And give ear to me, you ye that have knowledge. Okay? Because the man has to have the knowledge of Yahweh Shema Shai to rule over a family. All right. You got to have understanding to deal with a woman, man. It ain't just about popping her. All right. You have to lead her. All right. You have to teach her. Okay. So you have to have understanding from up high how to deal with a woman, because these women, none of them are righteous. They wild fucking orangutans. All right. This is Isaiah 28:9. Whom shall he teach knowledge, and whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Men. This is who the Lord gives knowledge and understanding to. Men. All right. And you can't have a household, all right, a family without a man, because the Lord is going to give that knowledge and understanding to that man how to deal with the family. Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. All right. For precept must be on precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little. And who the Lord gave that skill to? Men. All right? Men. All right? They're the cornerstone of the family. Yahweh Bashim Shai is the cornerstone, and then the men follow with the instructions that the Lord give us through his breath. Okay? This is so you take the man out of the equation, you just got a disorder, brood of unprofitable children, wicked women, and niggas. That's it. And the enemy can spoil you easily by bounding the strong man. All right, this is Psalm 68:19. Blessed be Yahweh who daily loaded us with benefits, even the power of salvation. All right. And those benefits the Lord give us is this understanding, wisdom. Okay. And you got to push that out. All wisdom and understanding, the Lord give it to men. The Lord said the tabernacle of Yahweh Shema Shai is with men. The sheep of his pasture is with men. And then men create families. Because I hate to hear a bitch talking about, I walked around with you 9 months in my body. Nah. The man walked around with that seed in his testicles all those years before he impregnated your dumb ass, bitch. All that pride. I had you 9 months. Your daddy had you. I had my first son, 26? I walked around with him in my testicles 25 years. The The fuck you talking about? See, but that's that Western wine. That's that Western medicine. Okay? This is Psalms chapter 8. And 4. All right, it reads, what is man that thou art mindful of him? You see? You gotta push that vibration. There's no such thing as a family without a man. A woman and her children, that's not a family. That's disorder. A woman bearing children and raising children, and the husband is nowhere in the equation. That ain't a family, man. That's just a band of misfits, okay? And the Son of Man that thou hast visited him, all right? For thou hast made him a little lower than the angels. See, the Lord gave the men dominion. All right? He gave us, he made us just a little lower than angels. He gave us dominion over the fish of the sea, the fowls of the air, the beasts of the field. All right? Everything is in our dominion. Especially the seeds that proceed from our testicles, man. All right? That's why we're sighing and crying, because in this society, you don't even have control over your children, man. Okay? And has crowned him with glory and honor. That don't say a woman. It say a man. It don't say nothing about crowning a woman with glory and honor. A woman gets crowned with glory and honor by her husband. The husband is boast of him and say, I have a good wife. The Lord boasts of men saying, this is my good servant, job well done. Okay? You have to understand this prescribed order to have a healthy, wholesome family. Okay? This is Jeremiah chapter 32 and 19. Okay. All right. Great in counsel. And see, and this is what the Lord was doing Adam when he put him to sleep. He was counseling and sealing instruction on him. All right. And mighty in work, for thine eyes upon all the ways of the sons of men, to give everyone according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doings. You see, the Lord is dealing with men. Okay. I have to bring out these precepts. You got to establish there's no such thing without a man. So when the so-called white man made that philosophy and say, I'm pulling the man out of the household and you take these treats, the so-called white man, they at least know there's no such thing as a family without the man. All right. He did that purposely, strategically, to break down our family unit, so he could spoil us and have his way with our women and children. Okay. I mean, hey, he's the enemy. That's what your enemy is supposed to do. Divide and conquer. You can't knock him. He's the enemy. All right? He's the enemy. He did what the enemy was supposed to do. Divide and conquer. I do it to my enemy. All right? This is a fucking enemy. Okay? Now, this is Numbers 1 and 18. I want to get this word house to show you, hey, there's no such thing as a family without a man. And they assembled all of the Numbers 1 and 18, and they assembled all the congregation together in the first day of the second month. And they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers. All right. So there's no such thing as a family without fathers. According to the numbers of the names from 20 years old and upwards by their polls. All right, now let me get that word house and let's see what it come back with in the Hebrew. Let's get that word house. That devil's strategic getting them the Israelite man out of the equation. He knew what he was doing. But he was doing it from a biblical perspective. All right, he was being strategic. See, this devil know the scriptures, so he know our kryptonite is for us to get out of alignment with the scriptures. Okay, he knew what he was doing.
Strong's H 1004. Bayeth.
All right.
Bayeth.
And you're pronouncing the Lashawan Kadash Bayat. Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to skip down to Roman numeral. I think that's 6. Salakia, if I'm wrong, or 4. It's 4. Roman numeral 4. Home, house, as containing a family. You see? Your house is a family with the father. A home, a house as containing a family. All right? We got some more that I want to get. All right? Your household, a family of descendants. Descendants as organized body. You see? A family unit has a hierarchy and a lowarchy, if lowarchy is a word. All right? The hierarchy of the family has a father. If a father is not there, that's not a family. Now, a mother with children, those are relatives, but it's not a family. Because what tells us what a family is? The Bible, the Holy Bible, not the so-called white man and his rhetoric, his philosophy. All right? So what does this chapter just say? The Lord numbered, let me go back up here. I'm going to have to go back. All right? A family of descendants descending as an organized body. And what is the organized body? Let's get the organized body in 1 Corinthians. All right. This is the organized body. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 3. But I will have you know that the head of every man is a Mashiach. All right. It ain't no family if a Mashiach not the head of the household. Okay. For us Israelites. Okay. And the head of the woman is the man. All right. So it's not a woman at the head of something. It's not a family. That's not the Lord's prescribed order. You got to have Yahushua. All right. Yahweh over Yahushua. And then Yahushua over the man. And the man over the woman. And the head of a Mashiach is Yahweh. Okay. Now, if you're not rocking according to this prescribed order, you're satanic. You're adverse to the Holy Bible. Okay. You're not in alignment with Yahweh B'Shem Shai. Family of descendants as an organized body. Okay. Strong's definition. Now, we don't need any of that. Okay. So that organized body starts in this corner round, all right, with the man. Okay. And the so-called white man strategically broke that up. Okay. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 9. Okay. And it reads, only take heed to thyself and keep thy soul diligently, lest thou forget the things which thine eyes have seen, and lest they depart from thy heart all the days of the life, but teach them to thy sons and thy sons' sons. You see, the reason the scriptures and the spirit goes to the men, he say thy sons and the sons, it don't even say the daughters. All right, is because these are the heads of the family. You get the sons, father and grandfather out of the equation, you've done away with that household, with that family. Okay. And that's what the so-called white man did. He strategically broke us down by separating the man and the woman. All right. But in this fine hour, what is the Lord doing? All right. He's bringing the hearts of the sons back to the fathers. He's bringing his breath of life in us. And he's bringing that family unit back to life. All right. Back together. Now, he's not just bringing it back carnally. He's starting with the church. All right. Because our only family is men that speak the same things we speak. All right. And the Lord is bringing that back, showing us, brother, how to coexist with one another and take care of one another. All right. Now, you have some brothers that are fortunate, all right, that have their children, their woman in order, and and preside over the household. But right now, the Lord is building his church. His church is our family right now. The brotherhood, okay? And we're learning in this church how when the Lord, when things when the Lord sending these women in Isaiah 4:1, how to rule over them. All right, because a lot of men got women and don't know how to rule over. All right, you need wisdom to deal with a woman, man. Okay, and there's no such thing as a house without a man. Okay, that's why the Lord says He's going to make a man more precious than fine gold, the golden wedges of Ophir. All right, because the Lord put that breath in that man, understanding in that man. All right, and made that man a little lower than the angels. All right, you can't do that if a woman's ruling over the household. She's going to easily be spoiled. The enemy going to be able to overtake her like that. Okay, so with that, Abaratazah, this was edifying to the hearers. I'm going to give infinite honors to our Heavenly Father and our great King, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Harakakadash. Double honors to our apostles and our bishops of Great Millstone, and salutation to my fellow ladies in the Mashak Yahushai. Kwam Yasharala, Baba Baal, Shalom.